So hello and welcome to the human story behind the Business and Brand podcast. I'm the host, Jeanette Walton. I'm a career brand consultant and a humans matter champion, committed to helping others deep dive into their many human facets that make them unique, fabulous beings. I'm also a strong advocate of storytelling to enrich our human connections. This podcast partnership with Women Making It Work aligns with but slightly deviates from my The Human Behind the Career Brand podcast series. The human story behind the business and brand delves into those poignant moments, experiences, and life lessons that shape these high-performing professional women into who they are today. It discusses their fates, their flaws, their feats, their fears, and all the other fabulous human elements that have driven them to perform so well in their professional and their personal lives. My next guests for this podcast series are Jo Fischer and Jutta Klipsch, two of the authors and storytellers in Women Making It Work's Beyond the Business anthology, representing those women who shed the masks of others' expectations, abusive relationships, and or inherited limitations to discover who they were always meant to be beneath the conditioning. So first up is transformation coach and group facilitator Jo, who underwent a significant finding her voice journey after migrating from Wales to Australia in 2016 with her husband and 3 sons. Formerly a highly regarded manipulative therapist in Wales and the broader United Kingdom for 20 plus years, there were several cosmic or fatalistic experiences that brought Jo and her family to Australia, where she had the opportunity to break free from her former practitioner career and cultivate a career pathway better aligned with her internal passions and values, which includes coaching and public speaking. There were some challenging times for Jo when it came to building a new life in Australia, but she always knew she was meant to be in her new homeland. And she's consequently redefined what success looks like and continues to grow and flourish within the networks and relationships she's established in Australia and perhaps beyond. My other guest is women's empowerment coach and public speaker, Jutta, who really started to find her voice after she left a long-term relationship in 2018. It had been Jutta's dream since 2007 to become a transformation coach, and it was after breaking free of her domestically violent marriage, along with an office job she'd had for 19 years, that she began to choose herself and her career aspirations. There were crippling doubts and unspoken wounds that Jutta had to navigate, along with a financial setback from being conned by a fake coaching franchise, as she progressed towards living by her own rhythm as a coach empowering others. A clear signpost that she was moving in the right business direction was 12 months after leaving her marriage, when she hosted the first Women's Empowerment Summit. She has since created multiple spaces where women can take off their mask and exhale. Jutta's favourite quote is, "It is better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you are not," based on her belief that freedom begins when you are willing to take full ownership of your life. So welcome, ladies. It's so lovely to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you, Jeanette. So you've both undergone a life-altering journey of breaking free and finding your voice, both professionally and personally. So Jutta first. What would you say was the most pivotal moment in terms of really feeling free?
I think there were 2 moments. One was leaving my 19-year-old job, which was pretty, familiar, cushy, like I knew
Safe.
everything, but safe, but I knew it wasn't the right place for me. And I knew that for probably 5 years. And then one Monday morning, they started performance management and micromanagement rubbish, and it was interesting. And in the morning on Monday, I got in. I sent a summary to my boss about his summary, and then I replied to his summary of my performance management. And it was, you thought I didn't need to reply. This is the last warning before termination of your employment. I said,
Wow.
what? Anyway, and by then I knew I will leave the office and I will never go back. I will never talk to them. And
So
that was it.
19 years.
And I did that. And I went on stress leave. And the thing is, it's complicated because it was actually kind of family. Like, it was like the uncle of my first husband's, blah, blah, blah. There was like
Okay.
a very deep connection there. So it was very hard. But I just knew there was no but ifs and whatever. And the same with my relationship. That was when in 2021, probably 4 years ago, and 2018. I mean, I called myself an exaholic. I went back 4 times to my ex.
Exaholic, I like that. I've never heard
We
that.
weren't actually married, but and on
Okay.
and off and off. And we went to holidays, and something happened, and I thought that's it. Like, and I just knew, and yeah, I just knew. And I think it's a process. You work, like
Yeah.
it's kind of process, but there's a point where enough is enough, and you just know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just, in both cases, I just knew, and that's it.
And maybe with the universe giving us a little push along too, like with what happened at your work, yes?
Well, yeah, that was very interesting because I mean, I actually promised myself not to celebrate my 19th anniversary, and 1 month and 2 days or something before I quit. Yes, and it
Yeah,
was
wow.
during
How
COVID.
so how long apart between leaving the relationship with your exaholic? I'm going to use that term, by the way, and leaving work. Like, what was the time period between those two?
Exolic was 2018, November. The other one was October, end of 2021. So it was like a progression. Yeah.
Yeah, a process. Yeah,
And when
absolutely.
I knew I didn't fit in anymore. I sort of evolved so much that I just didn't fit into this culture anymore. And I really dislike pretending. It makes me sick. It makes my soul cringe and dying.
Yep.
Like it makes me. We were meant to wear gray polo shirts, and I couldn't do it. I mean, everybody who knows me, so Jutta has color.
Glasses. The
Yeah,
glasses say it all.
yeah, so I was like, "Oh, no." Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you find out over time.
And what about you, Joe? What would you say was the most pivotal moment for you in terms of really feeling free?
I feel like it was the part of the where I write in the book about when I was in the hotel. I was doing it wasn't a conference, it was a speaking opportunity. And I think sitting quietly, having a reflective moment, but knowing that I was kind of doing what I had dreamed of doing, speaking to people, and sitting quietly in that reflective moment, it was how I felt in my body, because for me, chased the sense of freedom since my early 20s. That's why I started working for myself as a manipulative therapist back in when I was 22. And really that sense of freedom, I thought I had it of what it looked like for me, but I certainly didn't feel free until I kind of went through the coaching process myself. And then in that moment in the hotel foyer, the feeling of complete relaxation in my body, filled with excitement, filled with a sense of poise and inner confidence, in that feeling that I've got this. Yes, of course I was nervous, but I knew that I was there for my purpose alone. And that was a defining moment for me.
Yeah, and I guess that inner knowing, I've made it to what I've been aspiring to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, love it. So, Joe, you vividly remember when your husband told you back in 2015 that you'd be spending Christmas in Australia, which was the commencement of your migration down under. Do you think your subconscious could sense the potential for career change at the same time, perhaps causing your fear of waking up to find out it was all a dream?
I love this question already. It's giving me goosebumps. Yeah, absolutely. The body always knows first. We think that it's our mind, but actually our body leads. And even though I wasn't aware with anything, was I aware? I was aware, but I couldn't language it. I just felt that there was this change. I didn't have words to put into context, but I knew for sure there was this inner knowing that it was, I don't know how it was going to work out. I just trusted.
Yeah.
I moved forward with that internal drive, as opposed to that sense of, there was a fear and excitement, of course. But the overriding factor was that sense of excitement.
Hence, really wanted it to come true. Yeah.
For sure.
So, Jutta, you mentioned in your story that it was when you ignored your intuition that you paid the price, such as being swindled by the coaching con artist. Sorry to hear about that. How has tapping into your gut or intuition continued to benefit you since that harsh financial lesson?
Well, what I got to be aware of all the time is that you actually have to nurture your intuition. You have to tune in because there's a fine line between fear. You know, we get fear
Yeah.
and it's actually fear based by our conditioning and by our subconscious mind. So there is like intuition. So where is the difference? And like you have to be really present and self reflect that you kind of get the difference. And what has changed then since then is that I think it's not the intuition. My word what really came up in the last few years is discernment, and discernment is really being present of, is that a good thing, bad thing? Intuition, it's, yeah, so discernment is a big part of my life now.
Yep. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. So, what would each of you say was your hardest challenge in terms of fully unleashing yourselves from your former lives and careers?
Hardest challenge, I think shedding off your skin like a snake, this core beliefs and the voice in your head. At first you have to identify it and then really be present. And I think, sometimes you might actually not get rid of it. It will be always there, but you have to actually recognize it. You see, like mine was always, I don't matter and the world doesn't care kind of thing. And it still comes up. But now I can actually say, okay, hello, like it's there, but
Yeah.
I recognize it and I can see it's totally inauthentic. It's not real. It's like
Yes.
BS. So I think, like it's nice if you get totally rid of it, but sometimes it still runs you on your subconscious level. So when it comes into your, like I don't matter, because I can see it in throughout my life. It was in my relationship, in my work, everywhere, I don't matter.
It's
And
just such a
so
conditioning sometimes, isn't it? It's really
yeah,
hard
but
to
I can
fully release
really,
it.
I can, in my business, for instance, I always thought everybody knows what I know. What, like, is that sort of like, who do you think you are? Everybody knows what I know.
Yeah, I can relate
Everybody
to that.
knows that. Yeah,
Yep.
but really then, especially sort of the last few years, like I recognize this is another BS, like for me, it's so natural, but when I say something, people say, wow, that's really interesting. I was like, why is that interesting? Like, don't you know that? So yeah, so I think that is probably the best, and changing the relatedness to myself. And
Yep.
I
Can you tell me a
realize
bit more what you mean by that?
like if I relate to me, who do you think you are? Or I relate to me like I have a gift and I'm special and I'm the unique being like everybody else. So, and value my own wisdom and
Yes.
how I relate to that is actually a big transformation for me. And I can say since I do that and relate to myself differently, and yeah, it shows up in my conversation everywhere. I own
Yeah.
sort of myself, my voice.
And it's that knowing yourself really well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Those conditioned thoughts and stuff, yeah? Knowing about them, acknowledging
my
them
being,
and
that's me, my unique being. This is Utah, like, and of
yeah.
course I have flaws with that like everybody else. But valuing the gift, and I really believe that everybody got a special gift and a special unique being. And when you transform that being, it shows up in your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
Mm,
So I'm very
yeah.
big on transforming your being instead of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Because when you
Yes.
change your being, everything else changes. If you're courageous, your action. So instead of when I have $1 million, I will do this and then I will be happy. It's like I will be happy and I do this and then I have this. So it's like
Yes.
the other way around.
Yep. Great advice. What about you, Joe?
Mine was caught up in my identity because I'd been a manipulative therapist since my early 20s. Really dropping the mask of that. There was a big grief process around that
Mm,
because I thought I had to lose that identity to
yep.
become someone else. And actually what happened was embracing that identity even more and encompassing it in what I do now
Yes.
that was a game changer for me, for sure.
about us being those multifaceted human beings that have all these different
Yeah,
elements and they can work together or
absolutely.
interweave.
Yeah, we don't have to ditch one to become somebody else. It's not
Yeah,
that. It's
absolutely.
embracing all parts of us for sure.
And to see them as value adds, what we've
Yeah,
changed from.
yeah, absolutely.
So another question for the two of you. What do you think has become your core professional superpower and or personal philosophy as empowerment and transformation coaches?
Yeah, go first, Joe.
Yeah, okay.
First
My
before.
superpower is I help women move from self-doubt to creating themselves that deep embodied confidence. And it's not that I've experienced this where we have this mask of confidence where we have to put on or perform this vow of confidence. But it's really having confidence, just walking to the supermarket, just walking in everyday life, having that confidence where your posture's different, you walk through life different when you embody that sense of confidence. So I guess I help women guide themselves back to parts of themselves which they've forgotten, just like I didn't realize that I could integrate a part of myself that become my identity into who I'm becoming. So it's always that unlearning and a becoming of that woman that you desire to be. And that's different for everyone, every woman, for sure.
Yeah, and that deeper knowing of yourself.
Yeah, that deeper
Yeah.
inner knowing. Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Jutta?
Well, my superpower is probably no fluff, cut the BS, and my authenticity and accepting what is. It's not always easy, but with me and helping women and empowering women is really, how can I say it? My superpower is just being me and expressing my gifts and what I have, like by the way I'm being. um and I think in people, what I feel is I actually get attracted to it because I want to be like that. It's
I
not
was
like
just
I'm
thinking that a
perfect.
lot of people would like that.
Yeah, like,
You're so open
and really I'm passionate. Like I just had a multiple brain integration session yesterday with somebody overseas, a woman who, yeah, sort of coming back to your heart and to yourself and embracing and getting this relatedness to yourself, what I was talking about before, what I had to do for myself. Like I always say, on this whole thing, oh, I'm not good enough, blah blah blah. And I always say, if Picasso and Mozart would have had this inauthentic belief, I'm not good enough, we wouldn't actually have their art and their music,
So
because
true.
it's so inauthentic. You can be incompetent in something, what you can learn, but as a being, as a human being, you never, never, never not good enough, because the self-worth doesn't come from anything. It doesn't come from doing. It's from being here.
Yeah.
And I'm really passionate about, I think, that's my superpower to tell women, anybody really, come on, like, you matter. Like that you're here in the world and not here in the world. There's a difference.
You matter just as much as everyone else, yeah?
Exactly, everyone does. The world is different with you or without you.
Yeah.
It is.
So, Joe, you highlight in your story that there was a pivotal moment when you heard an inner voice and felt an inner knowing that you'd be speaking to audiences in the future when you were involved in a school presentation in Wales. Is that voice and or feeling something you continue to source as you progress professionally?
Absolutely. It has become my guiding inner compass, if you like, in and how I connect with it, the relationship that I'm continuously building with that self-trust, self-belief, and self-worth is a completely ongoing journey. And it's got louder, not louder in tone or volume, but louder in the presence and how I experience that inner voice within me.
So you're more too into it.
Yeah, tuned in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's I cultivate that daily.
Yeah.
It's a daily practice, moment by moment practice.
Would that be a meditative practice or?
There are so many, but
tapping?
yeah, absolutely. There are many different scenarios that can play out throughout the day, but it's really focusing on those micro moments that matter. They change that perception. Even just having a cup of tea. A cup of tea has now become a ritual where once, I know drank like about 13 cups of tea a day. I know.
Wow.
I
You'd
know.
have spent a lot of time on the toilet, I would imagine.
But that was in a space where I wasn't listening to my intuition.
Yeah.
Life wasn't going, as I perceived it would have been. But
It's that
really
slowing down, yeah?
Yeah, really focusing on those micro moments and enjoying that, the gift of presence, and cutting out the noise, which is really, really important.
Yeah, it can be challenging, can't it? Cutting out the noise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And hence that's why it's a daily practice, because it takes practice. It's like, you don't run a marathon and just get up and run the marathon. You have to start with putting on those training shoes and getting out there, maybe just walking around first before we actually hit the, 5K, 10K marathon, whatever it is.
So patience and kindness to yourself.
Absolutely. And compassion, bringing all of that in. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Lovely. So Jutta, I was going to say in your marriage, but it wasn't your marriage, but in your, what was it, your exaholic situation, and perhaps your childhood, there were negative voices that kept you feeling small in terms of your career goals and ambitions. What sort of work did you do, or do you continue to do, to keep those voices out of your head?
Well, I have done a lot of self-development. I have done a lot of courses. I have done a lot of things. And I think that helped me. I can't really pinpoint one thing, but I have done a lot, like continuously self-improvement. Not even self-improvement, self-development, evolving. But as you said at the beginning, two things are probably what I can see. One is it's better to be hated for who you are than being loved for who you are not. That is sort of my mantra. I don't really need outside validation anymore. I don't put people on a pedestal.
That's
and
powerful.
If people say, yeah, you should be like this and thing, blah, blah, blah. And, my thing is, when you cleaned up your backyard, you can help me clean up my backyard. Cool. So, and my thing is always autonomy. And I mean, I got a Maori tattoo called Tino Rangatira Tanga. And it means be proud of who you are, be the best you can be, and be your highest self. But it's also in the Treaty of Waitangi, which is autonomy, self-governorship. And I'm very much about autonomy and self-governorship. Your own compass, as like, I shared this many times. My intention is to finally finish my book, which I started 7 years ago and got slack. I say not 1st of July is my birthday next year. I need to have my thing finished.
You need someone making you accountable.
Yeah, and it's called Who's Driving Your Effing Bus, okay? So it's all about everything starts and ends with us, and that's how it is.
Yes.
And you can shame, blame, blah, 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 everybody's fault. It's you. You are.
It's you and your choices, yeah?
Yeah, and you are responsible. And that means either you are the active agent of your life or you're the passive victim of your life. So you're an autonomous human being. So that's how it is. Don't throw away your autonomy because many people do.
Yeah, I totally agree. So there's just a couple more questions that I'm asking everyone to wrap up these conversations. The first one sounds a bit dramatic, but I'm just trying to get people to go deeper. If you were on your deathbed and had time to reflect, how would you say that finding your voices as coaches, public speakers and group facilitators has enriched your life experience?
For me, it will have been about found myself through this. I uncovered all the masks that I didn't realize they were there. I mean, awareness is everything, and found myself through the removal or the lowering of the masks.
Yes.
Like people pleaser, perfectionist to some degree, all those roles that we are conditioned to behave in as we are growing up. Removing those and allowing them to fall away has been life-changing. And I think the number one life changer through that is finding energy that I didn't know I had. Because having these masks up take up so much energy. so
Yeah.
much energy. So on my deathbed, I will know that I did it. And I know I'm going to be pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, that's a massive life achievement, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. What about you, Jutta?
What about me, deathbed? When I look at it, self-expression, freedom is important. That I made a difference and I was an interrupter.
So made a difference for others through
Yeah,
your finding your voice?
yeah. I mean, and I think, like whatever you want to do for others, you have to do it first to yourself, with
Yeah,
yourself. I mean, you can't tell, oh, you should do this when you don't do it. That's inauthentic. Like there's many people who said, oh, like have like the wisdom for other people, but they don't do it themselves. Like, hello, and being authentic, self-expressed, making a difference, and not compromising for, I don't know, for love, validation. Like I
yeah.
don't compromise anymore. Like me, don't like me, yeah, whatever. And I don't know if it also comes with age, but you just care less what other people
Maybe to
think.
some degree it does come with age, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's really
Like,
stepping into your own power when you don't care so
yeah,
much what others
and
think.
really seeing your conditioning and really discerning what is really you and what is like put on you, from your religion,
Yes,
from your culture, from blah blah, and really
yes,
looking at it. That takes stopping, self-reflection. Like that's sort of I gave once a speech at Toastmasters. What was it? Hurry up and slow down. And for me now, I say hurry up and stop, and because without stopping and reflecting, you actually can't. Who am
yes.
I? What is triggering me? Is this really mine? Is it my parents? Whatever. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Slowing down. Is there any final message that you'd like to pass on to anyone who listens to this podcast in terms of breaking free and finding their own voices?
I would tell them, give them the advice or wisdom then of don't give up. Don't give up. If you are seeking, if you're aware and you are seeking a support, something to change, keep looking. They will find you. Because when my first son was born, a long time ago, he's now a young man, that was when that first instinct dropped in of that I was going to be working in a hotel room, and I was nowhere near that. But I kept my eye on that goal, but I didn't know how it was going to come about. But I found my people. Find people that'll help you, find people that support you. And if you can't find them, keep looking. They will find you. They will find you.
Yes, yes. Networking queen, as I call
No,
you, Joe. And a
thank
lot
you,
of people
Jeanette.
a lot of people I've been talking to on this podcast series from Women Making It Work, it's really coming through that theme of sisterhood and the power of
Absolutely.
sisterhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Keep searching. Don't give up. Do not give up. Don't give up.
yeah. What about you, Jutta? Any final message?
Well, fun message is, well, it's better to be hated for who you are than loved for you not. That's very much my major. What I would say is, are you clear for what you really care for? Do you really, really aware of what you value, and is your life aligned with that? And what we really, really care for, what you taking a stand for? Are you taking a stand for yourself? Or are you taking a stand for what you really, really care for? Because if you care for everything, you don't care for anything.
Yeah, yeah. So following your heart?
Well, first you have to tap into your heart to see what your heart is saying.
Yeah, yes, yes.
You
Very
know?
wise advice. Yep.
Yes, awareness and connection to yourself.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies. It's been such a wonderful conversation with you, and I'm feeling inspired from some of the tidbits I've got from both of you. You've both had such amazing journeys to find your voices and keep on letting those voices out and inspiring others. Well done.
Thank you,
Thank
Jeanette.
you. Thank you,
Thank you
Josh.
for your time.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.